Apparently, this is like the entire year ranking, and I am number 4 in VTubers for the whole year. That's kind of, is this independent or is this including everyone? This is as Hollow X, but I don't see like Hollow Live. So I think this might just be, wait, no, there's Corone. There's Miko. Oh my God, this is just everyone. What the hell? What the fuck? I'm above Mint, apparently. I don't know who this is. I can't read this person's name, but Kuzuha and Pato Nico, and then someone else I can't read, are the only people above me in Superchat rankings for the entire year. That's fucking wild, man. That's fucking wild. Mint is someone I recognize. Corone at 13, Miko 15, Shion, Chloe, Koseki Bijou, Pecora. That's fucking wild, brother. Korshovo Domination. What the fuck? What the actual? That's nuts. That is actually not, I'm above my Oshi. That's not real. Whose status shattered? This is genuinely not something I would ever think about happening. Also, whoever Pato Neko is, that's a fucking crazy number. Kuzuha is in second with 29 million yen, and Pato Neko in first with 52 million yen. That's fucking crazy. Number 1 Mogs everyone else by, yeah, that margin between 1 and 2 is fucking insane. Fringed Horizon, thank you. 4, them's his rookie numbers, honorable chatters. We need to get the Fox Who to number 1. Tards together strong. Well, we still have like a month and a half-ish until the end of the year.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
It's very impressive. Koi Kitsu, thank you. It is incredibly impressive. And this is why I say, like, I don't think I'll ever actually have the words to express like just how fucking thankful I am to absolutely everyone in my community. It's wild to see shit like this. Incredibly wild to see shit like this, because I'm not like that large of a channel. I'm not like a massive fucking channel, and I frequently feel like with engagement and you guys participating in stuff, and especially when I look at these chart things here, like our community, you guys, you just blow everyone else out of the fucking water. You're fucking nuts. Internet Zen Master, thank you. Kirsche haters are coping and seething. They just can't believe what they are seeing. True and real. True and real. Anytime someone like that copes and seethes, the only retort is like, well, that's just the super chats, you know. She also streams on Twitch and Kick. She also has the stream elements. Just make their heads break like little gumballs. お前はもう死んでいる。何? Big streamers bet on increasingly aggressive pause ads to stop viewers in their tracks. And I was like, that's a really weird fucking title. What does that even mean? As a streamer, I don't know if I'm a big streamer. I'm like a moderately sized streamer, but like, what does that mean? A moment that is frozen in time has become one of the media industry's hottest areas of focus. Most consumers are prone to dislike the interruption that TV commercials bring, which is why many of them have left the traditional boob tube in favor of streaming outlets. But big streamers like Amazon's Prime Video, Netflix, Warner Brothers Discovery, HBO Max, NBCU's Peacock, and Disney's Hulu and Disney Plus have been working to monetize millions of viewers' decision every day to pause their selection. How dare they orient the title this way and talk about big streamers bet on aggressive pause ads, and then they're just like, well, actually, we're talking about streaming services. How dare they bait me? But yeah, we'll finish the article. With ads of various sizes and shapes popping on screen just a few seconds after the action stops. A pause, after all, isn't forced on the audience like a traditional commercial break. And media companies hope consumers will be more willing to consider ads that surface on screen only when they choose to make their video halt. Well, this sounds a little bit better than like forced commercials, but what I would be worried about is if you pause your show and you have like the pause ad that pops up, and then like maybe you accidentally pause, so you like want to replay immediately, but the ad has like an embedded click on, so you click the button to hit play, but instead of hitting play, the ad is on screen, and so it takes you to like whatever product they're trying to shill you, and it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Pre-roll and display ads are automatically inserted when monetization is turned on. I have monetization on for streams, obviously to allow supas and members. Display ads make sense. I didn't know they had pre-rolls for streams, man. Because whenever I go to my YouTube dashboard, I get like assaulted constantly by like the little ad button, and they're like, hey, now's a good time to insert ads. Do you want to insert ads? Do you want us to insert ads for you? We can do it automatically. Play some ads, please. So like, I don't even like look. Yeah, I have like a flag here too that's like, you should set up automated ads to help you earn more while optimizing the experience for channel members. No, that turning on automated ads is not optimizing the experience for people. It's like the exact opposite, YouTube, you freaks. Disney was the first to try pause ads on Hulu in 2018 and worked to ensure they didn't take up too much of the screen and didn't block the programming that a subscriber had stopped. Many of the streamers have moved past this phase of cautious experimentation and are now running or testing ads that take up a full screen and come with many interactive bells and whistles. See, I don't like that. I don't want interactive bells and whistles on my ad. I want to be able to just ignore its existence. This is a commercial, says Tanner Eaton, Vice President of U.S. Advertising Sales for Amazon Ads during a recent interview. We want you to see what's going on here. Amazon's pause ads often use the full screen and include ways for viewers to click a button on their remote and go shopping for the product in question. Can you imagine how fucking bad this would have been in like the 90s and early 2000s with all those infomercials? Can you imagine how many kids would have racked up their parents' credit cards on like kinetic sand and other random doodads from the late night infomercials? Holy shit, that would have been crazy. You'll even get free shipping on a magic wand, but only if you call 188 definitely not bullshit in the next 10 minutes. One recent ad prompted viewers to order candy. Another one, for Berkshire Hathaway's Duracell, offered Prime Video subscribers the chance to drop some batteries into their Amazon cart. The company found the pause ads boosted the work being done by typical video commercials, with a 12% uptick in the rate of purchase after Duracell ran both pause ads, and regular spots. Netflix has found that 77% of its ad tier members keep a pause ad on screen for 15 seconds or more. It's really hard to skip the pause ad when, like, you're neck deep in muff or you're choking on someone's dick.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Like, I mean, I don't know what you expect here, Netflix, but that statistic doesn't really mean much based on what people use your service for. And also, I don't like this. This feels really weird. And they're just like, oh, when we make it super easy for people to add shit to their cart that they don't necessarily need, more people buy it. And it's like, yeah, a lot of people have very low impulse control. I don't like that. Little wonder that pause ads are on the move. NBC Universal's Peacock has offered full-screen pause ads since the service debuted. And Netflix now offers commercials after a pause that take up either the full screen or half, with the other half sometimes devoted to graphics that evoke the program being watched. I mean, at least there's like some kind of effort being put into it, but like, I don't know, man. Warner Brothers Discovery, which has only offered pause ads that take up a quarter of the screen and don't block out the show being watched, is testing full screen ads around the world to determine subscriber response. The company is also examining whether it can find ways to open more pause inventory, even in content that's rated TV-MA, while keeping advertisers from having ads that float on screen next to scenes that feature violence or nudity. I just think that advertisers should stop being quite as prude, right? Like, nobody's going to associate like Old Spice deodorant with something degenerate just because an advertisement plays during a specific show. Like, maybe if they're room temperature IQ, sure, but like, why would you listen to that person in the first place? And I think being able to put ads on the more mature content would probably open up way more revenue streaming than any of this other weird shit that they're doing, right? Even Disney, which has kept a tight rein on its pause ads, is considering whether to let them do more. The company has begun running pause ads that expand to take up the full screen only if the viewer decides to do so with a click of their remote. The new pause commercial format, which Disney calls Pause Plus, Disney Plus made a Pause Plus, really? Might let subscribers telescope to a new full-screen experience that could offer a trivia game or the opportunity to send a coupon to an email address. I love coupons, but if I have to put in my email address, I'm just gonna go to like 10-minute mail and get the coupon. Some places got wise to people just using like 10-minute mail and like not real email addresses to get these codes. And so you'll put like the email in to get a code, and then they won't send it for a full 24 hours. And I really hate places that do that. Because if I'm looking for a code, I'm trying to buy thing now, I don't want to wait 24 hours, man. This is something we treat as a viewer's choice, said Jamie Power, Senior Vice President of Addressable Sales at Disney Advertising. During a recent interview, when you click pause, it doesn't take over your screen immediately. You decide if you want to opt into the experience. The stakes are high despite subscribers' disdain for watching commercials. More streamers are adopting advertising cognizant that they need revenue that comes with it. The media companies are betting that consumers will take an ad-supported service for a cheaper monthly rate, particularly as prices for Peacock, Netflix, and others continue to increase, driven in part by the exponentially high cost for sports telecasts, one of the few programming formats that continue to draw large, live audiences TV once generated quite regularly. Media companies are trying to make the pause ads more useful than typical video commercials. A 30-second TV ad is generally employed to generate awareness of a product, so that customers will remember it when the time comes to shop. But pause ads are now appearing with QR codes that let viewers click to find out more information about what's for sale. Most executives believe more pause ads will soon be shoppable and take viewers that much closer to an actual purchase, something that is done better with a full-screen pitch. This made me think, like, their interactive advertising shit. When you play some of the free games on your phone, like, when I played Pokemon Go regularly, there was an app that you could download that was like an IV checker. I don't remember what it was called, but there was an IV checker app that when you downloaded it, you could use it normally or you could pay for premium. If you didn't pay for premium, every time you opened the app, you had to watch an ad for another game on the Play Store. And a lot of these ads for the games on the Play Store had you like interact with the ad itself. So you could play like 5 to 10 minutes of the gameplay, and then it would kick you to the App Store and ask you if you wanted to download. I hated these because they oftentimes, when you would like decide to look up the game just to be like, I wonder how accurate this is, what you would end up playing in the preview ad was almost never what you would end up playing as the actual game. And so these companies even figured out a way to like bait people into giving them more downloads by putting a game loop that doesn't actually exist in the real game in the advertisement. And it's just like, I really hate things like that. And how is it legal? Having beautiful imagery with a very clear brand front and center is important in the quest to capture attention, says Christina Shepard, NBC Universal's Executive Vice President of Streaming and Performance Sales and Partnerships. Also paramount, having a clear way to make a purchase, such as a QR code, that is easily spotted, especially on the screen of a smartphone. Call me paranoid, chat, but I typically will not scan QR codes unless they're like in a video game or it's a very trusted source. I am very paranoid about QR codes, maybe to a detrimental degree, you know? But like, and it's probably silly that when I see a QR code in a video game, I'm like, ooh, I want to see what that is, because that's like the easiest vector to trick retards into like getting something malicious on their phone, right? But when I see it in a video game, I'm like, I have to know what they put. I have to. Much like when I play those indie horror games and they put real phone numbers in it for some fucking reason. I'm gonna call those real phone numbers, and they've probably gotten hundreds of calls already, but I gotta do it, chat. It's in my blood. When it comes to pause ads, many companies see a need to jump, and quickly. The companies are gearing up for an influx of live viewing, particularly as more sports move to streaming venues like ESPN's new direct-to-consumer service, or Fox One. Many are testing other live formats, such as a stream of the most recent Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony that was on Disney+. This weekend, on Disney Plus this weekend, or celebrating a special Saturday Night Live concert, its 50th anniversary streamed on Peacock earlier this year. If the companies can make pause ads more appealing, says Power, they can really prove that good ads aren't interrupting the viewer's attention or taking people away from storytelling. The best pause ads, she says, will be more thoughtful, more relevant, and will give streaming audience the choice of whether to watch them or not. Meanwhile, other experiments are already bubbling. Amazon has begun to offer the format to local and regional advertisers, says Jen Donahue, Director of Local Ad Sales at Amazon Ads. Commercials from regional banks or community grocery stores can often be extremely meaningful to viewers, she said, and there's nothing more important than making it very relevant to the experience that I'm having as a viewer. Streaming services give advertisers the opportunity to understand the locations of where viewers are when they watch, and we can do that on the state level or down to the zip codes. Now see, I'm torn here. I like buying local and I like supporting local, so I really like local targeted ads, but the only way they can give you local targeted ads is if they have information about you, which I don't like. It's, you know, more streamers intend to start using digital technology and AI to find ways to create pause ads that play off the action viewers were just watching. Is someone having an intense phone conversation on an episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty on Prime Video? A pause might feature an ad for a mobile service, says Eaton. Meanwhile, NBCU plans to run pause ads from various sponsors, all tied to its looming BravoCon event. I wonder how much, like, new quote-unquote inventive ad technology might end up being reductionally going back to when they used to subversively plant images of certain products in the in-between frames of like TV shows and movies, and that would subversively get people to think about a product without even knowing that they had been advertised to. I'm wondering like exactly when we're going to get to that point. And I mean, sometimes it feels like TV shows or even streamers do that by like just the subtle product placement in their backgrounds, right?
And nobody in the audience has any idea.
Pause ads may also spread beyond a stop in the action. NBCU intends to put ads calling for a pause in actual commercial breaks on Peacock, says Shepard. These spots, which the company calls mindful moments, will use the same pause ad experience and ask viewers if they choose to take a beat. I think they mean break, maybe? I absolutely hate that. I think this is the worst thing that any streaming service has ever implemented, ever. If I have it on, I want it to be playing. Stop asking me if I'm still here. If I go to sleep with my TV on, I want to wake up with my TV on. Stop pausing my content to ask me if I'm still here. They sound similar to a popular commercial from the Calm meditation app that features nature sounds, or the Enjoy the Zen interstitials shown on YouTube TV that show seconds-long nature images. I have no idea what the fuck that is. If streamers want to succeed in advertising, they may have to put more emphasis on the break and less on the commercial. I think having the pause ads would be less intrusive than having the ads that break up the TV show, but I don't think anyone is going to get rid of the ads that break up the TV show in favor of just having these kinds of ads. It gives us the "are you still watching" meme, though. It does, and that is a good meme, but Lord, am I tired. Drivers will be forced to install speed-limiting devices. A $1,700 yearly cost sparks outrage across one state. Consider driving along in your vehicle and pressing down on the gas pedal, only to find that your car will not go faster than the maximum speed limit. That's precisely what Wisconsin lawmakers are now proposing. A means of reducing poor driving, in the form of a speed-limiting device that costs $1,700 a year and does not allow speeds to exceed the posted limit. Supporters call it smart safety, critics call it control. If you were going to implement something like this, why the fuck would Wisconsin be the first place to fucking do it? Now, that don't make no goddamn sense. Like, if it was New York City, I'd be like, I don't like this, but I understand, you know? Speed devices are dangerous. You had the progressive one that beeps when you decelerate too much. It would always beep at yellow lights and conditioned you to speed through yellows all the time. Straight up instilling dangerous habits, yeah? Yeah, and it counts it against you. Like, if somebody in front of you, like, stops short to avoid something, and then you have to, like, hit your brake harder to avoid them, that it counts against you, because it can't see what's going on. It can't take context into account. It's really shitty. The proposal is based on a simple principle, where a driver cannot respect the public safety by refraining from breaking the law, particularly speeding 20 miles per hour more over the legal limit. Technology should intervene where self-restraint fails. I disagree. I disagree, because I can see, like, even if you start this with good intentions, it's not gonna end up there. Wisconsin's proposed law on a speed-limiting device is directed specifically at reckless, negligent, and extreme drivers who speed and seek to make unsafe speeding not just unsafe, but also physically impossible. According to the legislation, if a driver has 2 or more reckless driving violations in 5 years, they could be ordered to have one of those speed-limiting devices put on their vehicle for a minimum of a year. How about we just don't let someone have a license for like 5 years if they have more than 2 reckless driving violations? Why does everyone else have to suffer? Why does Big Daddy government have to come in and be like, well, we're going to start with the prisoners? you know it's not going to end with the prisoners. You know it's not going to end with somebody who has multiple reckless driving violations. It's going to end up as something installed as a safety feature on every fucking car. Basically, it comes down to being a physical form of enforcement, in that it is a means of taking reckless behavior off the road without the immediate effect of a jail sentence. No. I would rather just put the person in jail if it's that serious, man. What the fuck do you mean? The hope, they say, when forcing drivers to slow down is to reduce crashes, injuries, and fatalities. The primary challenge is related to the costs involved. The annual expense of installing and maintaining speed limiting mechanisms is about $1,700. I really doubt that it costs that much. I bet it's actually more like a couple $100 for the mechanism, but then like $1,400 for all the bureaucracy and paper pushers with the useless jobs involved. Opponents suggest this creates a safety issue motivated by money. Supporters say the new law requiring a speed limiting device to be installed for reckless drivers could change the culture of high-speed driving in Wisconsin. The law places particular emphasis on those who derive excitement from operating their vehicle above the posted speed limit. So they're specifically targeting like drag racers and not like people who drive under the influence. That's also like an extra level of interesting. The state intends to eliminate those behaviors that would lead to decreasing the number of crashes, injuries, and fatalities to increase safety for all road users. Just this unexpected highway shoulder crackdown. What? For many people, the impact transcends mere cost and relates to principles and values. Advocates say the system is justified because it is a fair punishment for putting others in danger. Opponents believe the penalty unfairly affects lower-income drivers and comes perilously close to creating a surveillance state where the speed-limiting device technology tracks everything they do behind the wheel and ultimately every mile they travel. I think that's really interesting that they're talking about drag racers a couple paragraphs ago, and then opponents are saying the penalty unfairly affects low-income drivers. Is this just like summer heat or youths or gentle giant language here? Is this what did they mean by this? You see, lower income people have to speed at all times because they can't afford lower speeds. It's just, once again, like, something like this would not unfairly affect lower income drivers. First of all, if you're trying to paint this as a drag racing issue, as people who derive excitement from operating their vehicle above the posted speed limit, drag racers aren't exactly known for being poor. You need money to do all of that shit to your vehicle. Second of all, even if we remove any of the drag racing shit, how would it affect someone at a lower income bracket more than someone at a higher income bracket? You can have reckless driving regardless of what your income is. In fact, many politicians have gotten citations for fucking reckless driving. So again, this feels like very coded language to specifically say this is affecting a certain group of people that we're not allowed to identify outside of using coded language. If passed, Wisconsin would become one of the first U.S. states to enforce mechanical speed limits on private vehicles. Proponents argue the law could cut high-speed crashes by physically preventing repeat offenders from exceeding posted limits, potentially saving lives on the state's roads. And once again, you could also prevent that by just saying, hey, you have multiple reckless driving violations. You just don't get a license for 5 years. And if they violate that, if they drive without a license, you fucking throw them in jail. It's so simple. It's so easy. Numerous practical challenges and unanswered questions that could define the law. There will also be practical challenges such as who will oversee the installation process, another useless job that doesn't need to exist. If a driver sells or lends his or her vehicle, what happens then? How will officials monitor whether the speed limiting device stays operational for the duration of the penalty? The answers to these questions may determine whether the law is implemented smoothly or descends into logistical confusion. Wisconsin is testing new ground in its discussion to implement speed limiting devices, essentially stopping repeat offenders in their tracks. It becomes less theoretical and more real when an Iowa driver caught speeding multiple times pays $1,700 a year for the privilege of recklessness. Just like the Memphis strict speeding enforcement, depending on lawmaker response and the outcome of lawsuits, Wisconsin could either emerge as a national case study or a cautionary tale. I don't think we need more cautionary tales. I don't think this should be implemented. I think we already have things that we can do to reduce reckless driving. We just need non-corrupt judges and DAs and to actually enforce, like, hey, you don't get a license. If you get caught without your license, you get thrown in fucking jail. The embarrassing emails and photographs that spells the end for Prince Andrew. Pictures of Epstein and Maxwell at Balmoral and promises to play some more soon were too damaging to survive. Pressure might have grown on King Charles III to all but banish his younger brother from royal life in recent weeks, but the links between the one-time Duke, the pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and the sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell stretch back more than a quarter of a century. That's 25 years, right? They make it sound like way bigger when they phrase it that way. Andrew has consistently denied all allegations of wrongdoing, and the king may have felt that removing all of his titles 2 weeks ago was enough. Further revelations were then published by the Mail on Sunday. Look at the fucking facial expression. 25 years is a long time. I'm not saying it's not a long time, especially if you're fucking interacting with a pedophile, right? I just pick up on the weird way that journalists word things sometimes, you know? Further revelations were then published by the Mail on Sunday, and a posthumous memoir was published by Virginia Guffey, who claimed she was trafficked to and sexually assaulted by the Duke as a teenager. It will have become clear to His Majesty that he had no choice but to sever the cord altogether, forcing his brother to decamp from the Royal Lodge to Sandringham and denying him the right to call himself a prince. Looking back at the realm of emails, compromising photographs, court cases, and distressingly detailed allegations laid out against Andrew over more than a decade, many of them revealed by the Mail, it isn't hard to see why the king finally felt enough was enough. Andrew says he first met Jeffrey Epstein in 1999 through Ghislaine Maxwell, the now convicted sex trafficker whom he professed to have met at university, and was allegedly flown to his private island of Little St. James in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The friendship would seem to have taken flight quickly. Epstein and Maxwell were pictured together at a log cabin on the Balmoral estate in rural Aberdeenshire, Scotland, reputedly in 1999. A logbook reported by the Mail in 2015 showed Epstein also met Sarah Ferguson and her children as early as March 1998. Andrew would later be pictured with Epstein at a party at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in February 2000. Epstein and Maxwell then entered royal circles and were then among the guests at the Dance of the Decades event at Buckingham Palace in June 2000, thrown to mark 4 royal birthdays, including Andrew's 40th. He told the BBC at the time that Epstein was there at his invitation, but was also in effect Maxwell's plus one. The trio were also pictured together on Ladies' Day at Royal Ascot the same month. Andrew and Maxwell were then seen attending the wedding of the ex-prince's former girlfriend, Aurelia Cecile, in September, and at a Halloween party thrown by supermodel Heidi Klum in Manhattan with a theme of hookers and pimps. By then, Epstein and Maxwell's royal connection was assured, to the point Andrew threw Maxwell a surprise shooting weekend birthday party in December 2000 on the Sandringham estate, to which he himself is now expected to be exiled. A bit on the nose for a theme. Yeah, that's a bit weird to have as a theme, man. Andrew would later confirm he was seeing the financier regularly, at least 3 times a year, and using his private jet and staying in his properties. There's more pictures. Those are pretty dresses. Man, I want to dress like that. Virginia Guffey claims to have met Prince Andrew at Ghislaine Maxwell's house in March 2001 after being recruited and trafficked by the socialite from the US. Writing in her posthumous memoir, Nobody's Girl, Ms. Guffey claims Andrew guessed her age correctly at 17 and quipped, "My daughters are just a little younger than you." Odd. The infamous picture of Andrew with his hand wrapped snugly around the teenager's waist, Maxwell behind them, was then allegedly taken by Epstein. "He was friendly enough, but still entitled, as if he believed having sex with me was his birthright," Miss Guffey would write. She then claims that she was made to have sex with the former prince, for which she was paid $15,000, and would later be forced to do so again on 2 more occasions at Epstein's New York mansion and on his private island. In 2006, Epstein celebrates Eugenie's 18th with Maxwell and Weinstein while under criminal investigation. In 2005, Epstein faced accusations of molesting a 14-year-old girl at his home in Palm Beach, Florida. Her parents claimed she was paid $300 to strip and massage him. He was charged with solicitation of prostitution in June 2006, and a month later was pictured at Princess Beatrice's 18th birthday party. Damn, he really got around. The masquerade ball had an 1888 theme, and among the guests besides Epstein were Harvey Weinstein, now serving a prison sentence after being convicted on 3 counts of rape in California, and Ghislaine Maxwell. More pictures? For almost 20 years, it was a matter of record that Epstein, Maxwell, and Weinstein attended the main party at Windsor Castle. Earlier this week, the BBC reported that there was evidence the trio had also visited Andrew's private home, the Royal Lodge, which he moved into in 2004. Epstein was arrested 8 days after the party, and the allegations of sexual abuse would later grow to include 36 girls, some of whom were as young as 14. The financier would later take a controversial plea deal that saw him plead guilty to just 2 state-level charges, including soliciting a child for prostitution. In his now infamous Newsnight interview, Andrew sought to claim that Epstein had been invited via Maxwell and that he wasn't aware of the legal proceedings in the US, adding of Epstein, he never said anything about it. The pedophile would serve 13 months in prison under a work release program that allowed him to go home during the day, and was released into house arrest in July 2009. In 2010, Epstein's conviction for soliciting prostitution from a child did little to trouble the then Duke of York, who would be pictured with him in New York Central Park in December 2010, 5 months after Epstein's house arrest came to an end. The New York Post first published the image in February 2011 under the headline, "Prince and Perv." Months later, after the picture was published around the world, Andrew resigned as a UK trade envoy. A day after the central car picture was taken, he was seen bidding farewell to a woman now identified as Catherine Keating, daughter of former Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating, from inside Epstein's New York home in footage published by the Mail on Sunday in 2019. Andrew would later deny that he and Epstein had kept in touch beyond his time in New York, claiming the trip had been used to end the friendship. This turned out to be a lie. I feel like if you're an incredibly public figure and everywhere you go is like intensely documented, either by the regular press or by like creepy people that follow you around, why would you attempt to lie about something like this? Like, that doesn't make any sense. They have like a little email here. It says, from Prince Andrew to Ed Perkins. Just had a short conversation with Ghislaine, and she says VR is a lying so-and-so. This is consistent with what J.E. says. I'm assuming VR is... Actually, no. I was gonna say Virginia Guffrey, but that's an R, not a G. J.E. is probably Jeffrey Epstein. If this comes to the crunch, we must have a statement ready. Ed Perkins responded, "Indeed, sir, all received. Lawyers something, I can't read that." Prince Andrew responded, "It would also seem she has a criminal record in the States. I've given her date of birth and social security number for investigation with redacted the on-duty PPO." How does he have her social security number? How does he have that? Patchouli, thank you, not mentioned. When informed of Epstein's legal troubles in 2007, Trump not only banned Epstein from all his properties, including Mar-a-Lago, but he actively helped with the investigation. I was going to bring that up because a lot of people still talk about how, like, Trump was involved with Epstein, but he literally banned Epstein from his properties after Epstein tried bringing a minor to Mar-a-Lago. So it's like, you could do a deep dive on this, like Daily Mail has laid out here for Prince Andrew, but you would come up against the brick wall after Trump banned him and then helped actively with investigations. Epstein wrote to Prince Andrew, "We can start by pointing out that Virginia fled the country after a warrant had been issued for her arrest for stealing $300 from the restaurant she was working at. Police report available." Don't know if you would be defending Trump on Epstein-related stuff with how he's been acting recently about them. I have a couple of tabs on that, and I think pretty much everyone is unhappy that Epstein files aren't being released. I think that when the FBI first denied giving out all of the files, they should have been absolutely, like, just completely, "You're not handling this anymore. We're going in with our own agents and we're taking all of the files, whatever's left of them." Who knows what's left of them? But I have a couple of other tabs that apparently the DOJ keeps trying to get more of the files released and they keep getting blocked. So... On February 26, 2011, Andrew asked his taxpayer-funded Royal Protection Officer to begin digging into Virginia Guffrey's past, believing she had a criminal record. In an extraordinary email reported by the Mail this month, the ex-prince boasted to Queen Elizabeth's deputy press secretary, Ed Perkins, "I have given her date of birth and social security number for investigation." The Met says it is actively looking into the matter and has spoken to the former protection officer, who says he would testify to Congress if asked. Does no one remember what happened to JFK's head? We remember what happened to JFK's head. What I think is kind of grotesque is I think Ghislaine Maxwell is like trying to ask for a pardon. Under no circumstances should she be pardoned from absolutely fucking anything. The next day, as questions were being asked of Andrew's relationship with Epstein, the Mail on Sunday revealed to the world the infamous, damning photograph of the former prince with his arm around 17-year-old Virginia Guffrey. The ex-duke had been made aware of the fact that the Mail had the photograph and it was set to publish it, and he ranted to Epstein that the newspaper was gratuitously trying it on. A day later, the disgraced ex-duke would email Jeffrey Epstein to swear his loyalty to his friend, writing, "I'm just as concerned for you, don't worry about me. It would seem we are in this together and we'll have to rise above it. Otherwise, keep in close touch and we'll play some more soon." That's wild. He signed off the email as A. HRH, the Duke of York, KG. The initials referred to the titles of His Royal Highness and the Knight of the Garter, both now surrendered. The pair would then spend days emailing back and forth about how to seek to undermine Miss Guffrey's credibility. Andrew had claimed in the 2019 Newsnight interview that he ceased all contact with Epstein after visiting him in New York in 2010. An outright lie. Fergie's groveling apology and promise to cut all ties with pedophile Epstein. Fergie like Fergalicious Fergie? I'm so sorry I let a child abuser pay my debt. I don't know who this Fergie is. Duchess apologizes for her gigantic error of judgment, but backs Andrew as finest man she's ever known. Ooh. Ooh. I personally, on behalf of myself, deeply regret that Jeffrey Epstein became involved in any way with me. I abhor pedophilia and any sexual abuse of children and know that this was a gigantic error of judgment on my behalf. I am just so contrite I cannot say. Whenever I can, I will repay the money and will have nothing ever to do with Jeffrey Epstein ever again. I cannot state more strongly that I know a terrible, terrible error of judgment was made. My having anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein, what he did was wrong and for which he was rightly jailed. I will never have anything to do with him again. I deeply regret it. How many more times do you want me to underline that? My whole work is charity and children's books. And I just did not think this through. I did not see the ramifications. I was so intent on being clear of my debt. I don't know if charity and children book work is the defense you think it is, but I mean, in gushing email to Shame Tycoon, she confesses, I only said sorry to save my book deals. Holy shit, these people. I know you feel hellaciously let down by me from what you were either told or read, and I must humbly apologize to you and your heart for that. You've always been a steadfast, generous, and supreme friend to me and my family. As you know, I did not, absolutely not, say the P word, pedophile, about you, but understand it was reported that I did. However, I'm apologizing to you today for not replying to your email or reaching out to you, and the tabloids were so horrendous. I was advised in no uncertain terms to have nothing to do with you and to not speak or email you, and if I did, it would cause more problems to you, the Duke, and myself. I was broken and lost. I shut down and ran away. I saw all my children's work disappearing. I didn't want to hurt Andrew one more time. And I was instructed to act with the utmost speed if I would have any chance of holding on to my career as a children's book author and a children's philanthropist. In the meantime, I write this from the truth of my heart. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. The children's books only make you more suspicious, asshat? Yeah. It's like when someone comes out and says something crazy about kids and then they're like, but it's okay. I work around children. And it's like, well, but yeah. Philanthropist or full-on rapist. Holy shit. 2010 to 2011, Fergie is bankrolled by Epstein. It's worth remembering that Sarah Ferguson has lost her title too, being stripped of the right to call herself the Duchess of York when Andrew surrendered his title. Like Andrew, she maintained a cozy relationship with Jeffrey Epstein for longer than she professed to publicly, which has completely destroyed her professional reputation as of now. In 2010, she emailed Epstein while he remained under house arrest, as exclusively revealed by the Mail on Sunday, writing, "I will never forget your kindness and friendship at this time." Our reporting has revealed that she had asked for $50,000 or $100,000 US to help get through the small bills that are pushing me over. Epstein accounts. Interesting. Weeks later, Ferguson would publicly disown Jeffrey Epstein, telling the Evening Standard in March 2011 that she deeply regretted being involved with him after it emerged he had given her £15,000. A few weeks later, she said sent the pedophile a gushing email in which she apologized for distancing herself. I did not, absolutely not, say the P word. We read that. Epstein complained to a friend about being so publicly renounced on the day the Standard interview was published. He wrote to modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel, "The Duchess that I have financially helped for 15 years said that she wants nothing to do with a pedophile and child sex abuser. It has caused quite a stir." A litany of charities have since dropped Fergie as a patron, and she will no longer be offered appearances on ITV shows Loose Women and This Morning. That's a really on-the-nose show name, I might add. Publication of her next children's book, Flora and Fern, Kindness Along the Way, has been delayed. That is a really interesting timeline for all of this shit, to be fair. She's probably one of the more innocent ones, famously taken for a ride by Andrew back in the day. You said more, not actually, everything's relative. No! I could have agreed with that if she didn't give like a groveling apology to Epstein himself, but considering she did that, no. 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 Yeet, the Clipper account, posted this clip that said, Hasan talks about vetoing Nick Fuentes jokes on Leftovers, blames Destiny for kickstarting Fuentes' rise. There were numerous times when Ethan Klein wanted to make fun of him. I was like, are you out of your mind? We're not covering him, even to ridicule.
Don't know him and think he's cool. Brother, for many years, I refused to utter the mention of Nick Fuentes for that reason, because he had a, albeit limited, platform. As a matter of fact, I'll give you guys one inside baseball moment. There were numerous times when Ethan Klein wanted to actually make fun of him for going on a date with a cat boy and shit like that. Back when we had the Leftovers podcast, I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? No, we're not covering him. It doesn't matter. Even to ridicule him, we're not covering him at all. We're not giving him any fucking breathing room. We're not giving him any platform whatsoever. And I actually vetoed that shit over and over again.
And, you know, people say this, right? They're like, oh, if there's someone you don't like, if there's someone who's doing damaging things, like, just ignore them. Just ignore it. Why talk about it? And now look how large, like, a platform someone like Fuentes has. Not saying that, like, Hasan could have necessarily damaged him, but it's just, like, a lot of people really get in their minds that ignoring thing will make thing go away. And if you think that ignoring thing will make thing go away, typically that's a very retarded thing to do. The only time ignoring something makes it go away is if the people that care about it didn't actually care that much, which is why when there's a lot of like sort of bad behavior that goes around with VTuber corporations, the people in the corporation can ignore all of the issues and eventually people will just be like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, but most of the time, ignoring issue, not really going to make it go away.
But unfortunately, some of my other fucking ideological opponents who claim to be liberals may or may not have sucked his penis and also simultaneously openly delivered them a fat
Are we... Didn't it get debunked that, like, whoever's dick was in that video with Destiny wasn't Nick Fuentes's? Like, didn't people... Wasn't it not Nick Fuentes? Yes, unfortunately, it was Turkey Tom. I don't know if it was actually fucking Quail Quinton, right? Like, I don't know much about Turkey Tom either. That makes it better, obviously.
platform, and also additional media connections, and even promoted Nick Fuentes, and even talked about how Nick Fuentes owed them so much for their new career. Yes, I'm talking about Sex Pestiny. Oh, we were debating.
It's a little weird to me, I guess, that, like, Hasan and Destiny don't get along. I don't know.
There's no reason to debate people like that have very limited platforms at the time. And then he was resilient enough to work his way through the ranks and claw back after tremendous amounts of deplatforming, claw his way back into relevance, found himself in Kanye West's orbit at a time when Kanye West was also going through a manic episode and screaming Heil Hitler.
To be fair, having a beer with Kanye West would be fucking crazy shit, right? Like, just imagine the things he would say.
Over the place. Had dinner with Donald Trump. And kept pushing and pushing and pushing, sending his little groypers, the ones that at least can go outside, the Turning Point USA
are kind of
event,
gross, man.
infiltrating every facet of the Republican Party, and basically creating a media environment where, like, any Republican under the age of 35 is basically aligned almost entirely with his politics. And it's... And you know, lo and behold, you got a real fucking crisis on the right now, and he's getting a shit ton of high-profile media coverage.
Does he have a crying black child's face on his t-shirt? What is happening? Having dinner with Kanye is out of pocket, but Hasan openly stated he wanted to be in Diddy's entourage and go to his parties. Weird.
So it's too late
to apologize. Oh, that's where it ended. So I guess that's what Hasan said. And Destiny responded. Destiny said, if Hasan is going to reach this hard to say that I kickstarted Fuentes' career, then I am responsible for his career 10 times over. Also, Hasan fucked a 15-year-old where he was visiting the brothel in Berlin. That's why he doesn't like to talk about it as much now. I have literally no idea what went on with that brothel. I have read so many different things. I read an article about how, like, the brothel was, like, suing the government or some shit because of, like, misinformation in the news or something. I have no idea. I have literally no idea what's going on with that brothel shit. Also, crazy thing for Destiny to say without an allegedly in front of it. I'm gonna be honest. Crazy thing to just assert with no allegedly. And I think Asmongold had the right response. Imagine that, Asmon being right about something.
Destiny goes out and says this. This is all alleged. I don't need another fucking lawsuit, okay?
Right?
This is the main thing is this, right? So if Hasan is going to reach this hard to say that I kickstarted Fuentes' career, then I am responsible for his career 10x over. Well, I mean, I would say, like, I mean, Destiny absolutely did help. He did help Hasan a lot whenever Hasan was first coming up, right? This is undeniable. And then he said also Hasan fucked a 15-year-old when he was visiting that brothel in Berlin. That's why he doesn't like to talk about it as much now. I genuinely mean this. I think Hasan should sue him if this isn't true.
Agreed. Agreed. If this isn't true, Hasan should absolutely throw legal at him, because you can't just say something like that if it's not true. I think Destiny might have responded again where he's just like, Hasan can't sue because there's no defamation defense against the truth. I don't know. If Hasan doesn't do anything about this, I feel like that's a little damning. Yeah, let the retards fight, basically. It's interesting to watch, for sure.
I do. I think Hasan should sue him. Like, this is a crazy accusation. Crazy accusation to make at somebody. Yeah, wild. That's a crazy claim. Yeah, that's nuts. You can't just throw that on people without proof, man. Yeah, sure. And it's quite the allegation. It's common knowledge behind the scenes. If Hasan wants to contest it, he can sue me, but he won't, because truth is an absolute defense against defamation.
I'm glad Asmongold had this on tap, because I didn't have this tweet in a tab. I didn't remember where the fuck it was. So thank you. Thank you, Asmon.
I don't know. Like, I almost feel bad even giving this any attention at all, because I feel like maybe it's probably like I would never ever assume this is somebody, right? Exactly. I never would.
Like you don't much like calling someone a pedophile. You shouldn't just like sling that around casually. You should have some kind of proof before saying it. Destiny seems, for whatever reason, very okay with saying this without an allegedly. And so if Hasan doesn't try to slap back with some kind of defamation, it's going to look like an admission of guilt, which is going to just make everything so much worse. I'm very interested in what direction this goes in. I don't really have any horse in the race. I don't care who wins here. I'm just interested in how this plays out. Beretta did that shit. I don't know what Beretta is. Pretty sure Hasan did that to Destiny, although in that case, it's also probably applicable. I have no idea what Hasan has said or has not said about Destiny. Maybe Destiny knows because he could be there at the same time. I don't follow Destiny. I don't follow him.
I'll be curious to see what his response is going to be, if he even does respond. Same. I mean, it's just, you got to admit though, right? This is a crazy thing to accuse somebody of. That's a crazy thing.
It's literally what I said. What the fuck? What the fuck?
I've seen this so many times. Oh my god. And please, Hasan, please live stream the trial so I can watch it. Please.
Think of the content.
Please, I want to see it, man. I do. And that's all I'm asking for, okay? All I'm asking is for content, okay?
We're asking for the content. I quote retweeted something like this about the situation, and I brought up the like Destiny text thingy from when he was just starting his lawsuit with whatever's going on with like some chick accusing him of stuff, and he said like in a Discord somewhere, where is it? He's like, bro, if I need to go on the sex offender list, I'm taking like 20 other streamers with me. I think that's a bit weird. Like, just take them out now, man. Like, if you have this information, why not just be the agent of chaos and release it? And for some reason, I have a bunch of like Destiny community people in my replies like angry at me that I said this, but I'm not even denigrating Destiny here. I'm just like, bro, release the information that you have. I was like, why are his fans angry? He said he has info. I'm asking him release the info. Why is that bad? How dare you demand honesty and morality of our streamer? He said he had it. I want to see it. Fucking release it, man. Chinese security police harassed Hasan Piker while he was live streaming in Tiananmen Square. Hasan's live stream went down for 10 minutes after Chinese security officials saw Hasan hold up a Chairman Mao meme on his phone. They immediately pulled his entire crew aside and forced them to go through their phones. You can hear Hasan's friend translate, "They want to see your phones." Hasan is pro-CCP. He's defended the Chinese Communist Party in his live streams dozens of times. Hilarious.
Roger, you seen this? Oh, yeah. Look good. Yeah. 这是什么呀？他录个视频。
They fucking got there quick too. That's crazy.
Okay.
I can't see shit, brother.
OK， 要看直播的东西是吗？
对，我看一眼刚你那 photo。
So he wants to see the photo.
Oh, I didn't take a photo. 就刚才他录那个，让他找出来。
I can't understand Chinese.
No, not yet. No, 我都看见了。
Yeah, he said he
直播还是什么呀？
Oh, I was holding the camera out, but I didn't do anything yet.
对，拿手机弄一背景，那是什么东西？把它打出来。
No recording.
刚才那个背景。
So he wants to see the background of
The void, my beloved. I can't. I have the video here. It's just a black. They put it like up against their body.
Other phone.
Oh. Another.
Oh, it died. We're doing secret memes. Be right back. Holy shit.
Good on there, but my internet is not so good. Okay, we'll
On your-
switch it back.
the-
Okay,
the internet on your phone isn't
we're
good?
back. We're back.
We're just waiting for Will to get out of the bathroom now.
Yeah.
Which I wonder if there's a line to the bathroom.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. They're gonna see a picture of Winnie the Pooh and they're gonna skin him. Well, I mean, he's pro CCP, so I don't think he has that kind of meme. Land of the Flea, as in everyone would flee that shit if they could. Yeah. Hasan and his crew even know they can't be recording and streaming this, which is why they have to hide the active camera, and he still praises it immediately after. Actually, wild behavior to witness. Tweet below says, zero self-reflection. After being harassed by CCP security police, Hasan Piker proceeded to Tiananmen Square to wave a little Chinese flag at the daily flag-raising ceremony, and then went to a gift shop filled with Mao and CCP souvenirs. That jacket is crazy looking. It's got like the traditional Chinese ties in the front, but it's like an Adidas Slav jacket with like the yellow man collar from Curious George. He had a video after that where he defended the racial profiling of a white guy. Hasan supports race profiling and calls himself white. What an interesting thing to say. What an interesting thing to say.
Whenever the police showed up, they thought, so that thing that we went to, okay? The flag raising ceremony is not, it's not in focus. Hold on, I'm gonna fix it. The flag raising ceremony that we went to is not a thing that white people normally go to, right? It's not normally something that like white people attend, right?
I wouldn't know. I mean, I assume since it's a ceremony in China, like mostly Chinese attend it, but...
And I assume that they are probably extra attentive and extra careful about people coming to do some fuck shit. Like, there's a reason why, for example, there were Chinese nationals on each other's backs, right? But I knew that, like, if we did it, we would get called out by cops. Because, like, by and large, especially, like, the government is aware of, like, how they are perceived or how much, like, anti-Chinese propaganda exists out there. And I think the older people are also aware of it as well. But I think the younger populations in China are, ironically enough, less aware. Like, the younger normies are less aware of the animosity that exists, which shouldn't exist at all, obviously, but unfortunately does. And it's almost entirely one-sided, entirely designed by America. But yeah, we're white. So as foreigners in China at this, like, national event rather than an international one, where, as you guys noticed, like, they didn't have any, like, foreigners there at all. He thought he saw something on the phone. Like, he thought we were, like, making a mockery, you know what I mean? They didn't realize that we were swagged out white boys who love China.
They didn't realize we were swagged out white boys who love China. I feel like G Prime needs to make a meme out of that. I need to see that in his art style. Then move there.
Are you being careful with your words? No, I'm just telling you like it is. Like, they thought they were being extra attentive to make sure that, no one is making fun of Mao or anything like that, or the ceremony, and that's what they were that's what it was. It's normal for police to take close to foreigners to make sure that white people don't do stupid shit. Yeah, it's just it's a cultural difference, and also they just don't want anyone to pull a fucking Logan Paul or anything like that. How is it?
But it's a cultural difference when they racially profile you, but when American police racially profile people based on statistics, that's bad. That's an interesting thing to take here.
What do you mean? We just, like, talk to them. We just were like, no, that's not, we're not doing that at all. We're just here to experience the event. I told you I'd end up in jail. You got lucky this time? Yeah, okay, calm down. That's not, you're being ridiculous. This is actually one of the things that I want to show Americans in general, because, like, people have this like false assertion, false notion that it's people have this like false notion that it's like they will arrest you for a meme or whatever. It's not like that at all. Okay, calm down. It's funny because like I've dealt with cops at this point all around the world, as you guys know. So as far as like cops that I've dealt with all around the world, European cops in France, American cops, just European cops in other European countries, and even Japanese cops as well, I will say that it's not even remotely up there. The further west you go, the worse cops get, the more aggressive they get. America being the worst one out of all of them.
What a very interesting take. What a very interesting take there. A shut it CCP mouthpiece. No one with a brain likes you. Mildly OCD, thank you. San just pulled the white when convenient card. You thought he was brown. He's Turkish, if I remember correctly. And so it is very interesting hearing himself call himself white so many times.